Exciting to see you guys. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you are here. My name's Angel Tuccy. I am a media, my clients call me a media matchmaker. If you guys want to just type into the chat, tell me where it is you guys are coming from. Where in the world are you joining us from today? I'd love to see that. Okay, right. Are you guys on camera? Are you with us? Let's see. Oh, I've got to scroll this down. Great to see. Oh, great to see you, Queen Victoria. Yes, Clearwater, Florida.
Oh, hi.
Hi, welcome. Well, for many of you, this is not our first rodeo, not our first time hanging out together. For those of you who are new to either Power Team, Global Elevation, or even just meeting me, I'm Angel Tuccy. I've always been in Denver, Colorado, coming to you from Denver, Colorado. Look, we've got Chicago, we've got LA, we've got Clearwater, Florida, New York, Charlotte. Since the last event, I moved to Orlando, Florida. We bought a house just 2 weeks ago from Denver, Colorado. Oh, look, we've got a Miami, a Charlotte. Nice to see you guys here. So I just moved into a new home here in Orlando, Florida, and I'm super excited about it because I'm 20 minutes away from the airport. So when we start doing live events, start doing media mastery boot camps and masterminds, we can do them live here at my new event center. I've kind of modeled it after the Bill Walsh event center that he has there in Chicago. I pray you spread the world, you and Bill Walsh, with your great help and coaching. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what, they having a snow day in Denver, Colorado. They had 12 inches or 8 inches in the last 12 hours or 12 inches in the last 8 hours. It was a ton of snow. And I was having dinner outside on my balcony last night. So very different world. I'm still acclimating. But I'm going to teach you guys today. We're going to talk about media exposure because there is an unlimited, write that down. If you're taking notes, an unlimited number of media opportunities. Like, if you want exposure, you can have all the exposure you want. You get what you order. So if you want to have more people say, I've heard of you, you want to be invited on what I call OPA in front of other people's audiences, leveraging the power of radio, television, magazines, podcasts, you can have it. You can have it because there's so much opportunity. There are millions of podcasts, radio shows, magazines, all of that. And they are looking for guests. They're looking for human interest stories. They're looking for content experts. They are looking for people to entertain and educate their audience. And that, my friend, is you. There are millions of people who have not yet heard your story, and they need to. Right now, somebody somewhere is looking for you. They're Googling, how do I? They're thinking to themselves, who has walked this journey in front of me? Who can walk me through this? Who can I learn from? And you have climbed mountains, and those mountains you can teach others to climb. Everything that you have been through, what you have walked through, what you have experienced has set you up for this time to show others what can be done, what else is possible. And so right now, right, I was chatting with somebody today in Denver, Colorado, and in the newsroom, they are looking for stories that have to do with small businesses, how they're dealing with COVID. Is that you? Right? Are you shifting the way that you're dealing with business because of COVID? These are the kind of stories they are looking for in the newsrooms. Of course, it's all about, a lot of it about COVID, right? So think about, how has your business shifted? How has it impacted your business? Those are the stories they are looking to share. And if they like you, they can have you over and over and over again as their go-to on-call expert that they have kind of on speed dial, which is really the direction that we want to go. But here's the challenge, right? With small businesses, especially as we've shifted to this online virtual world, how do we compete? Because everybody's pretty much on the same stage, right? We are all competing for those same eyeballs, that same exposure, that same lead that everybody else is in the world, right? Competing against. So we're using all the same platforms, right? Half a dozen, right? With Facebook and LinkedIn and Clubhouse and Twitter, right? The social media platforms, we're all like, it's such a noisy and crowded space. When you are leveraging the power of media, when you get booked on somebody else's platform, it elevates your credibility in the marketplace. You stand out. People start to notice, well, if they're featuring you, maybe I should pay a little closer attention to what you're doing. So it creates this thought process. It disrupts the pattern of you being like everybody else, and you absolutely elevate because somebody else is featuring you on their stage. That transfer of trust, and people do business with people they know, like, and trust. They trust that platform, they trust that stage, they trust that host. They've already created the audience for you, and their followers automatically trust you because that trust transfers over to you. There's no faster way to build your business than by leveraging the power of media exposure. So there's all good stuff there, right? We want to get us out of being busy but broke. We want to learn how to build our business one to many. We want to scale it, and we want to get there faster and have more fun doing it. So step number one, if you're taking notes, step number one, in order to create more media exposure, to get invited as that content expert, how do I get invited? How do they even find out about me? Is we have to focus and position you as a content expert. We have to position you as the expert in the space. So that means we need to focus. Like, what is your area of expertise? What if I was to give you a microphone and say, I want to feature you and have you as a guest on our show? You don't have to prepare. You can speak passionately about it. What is that area of expertise that is set up that you speak on just elegantly, eloquently, excellently? Like, this is your space. I'd love to see you. Type it in the chat. What are you an expert at? What do people want to pick your brain about? What are they always coming to you saying, how do I? What are your clients? What are your leads right now searching for on YouTube and on Google saying, how do I? What are they looking for? Right? Bill and Power Team and Global Elevation, like, they have this absolutely dialed in. They know exactly what their clients are looking for, what the small business community is looking for. And they've created this amazing platform to bring us all in, to learn from, to serve each other. And it's because they are the absolute experts in their space. I'm so grateful that they've invited me to be a guest again on one of their stages. But you have an area of expertise as well. Surviving a difficult spouse, virtual training, how to get my child started. Oh, how do I get my child started in the acting biz? Right? Okay, we'll come back to that, right? But what is so they're an actor, right? So that's their expertise, right? So thinking about what is it that you could speak on just elegantly, eloquently as that expert all day long. What is that key phrase? If you were to narrow that down to like one key phrase. So when people see a post, they see a phrase, or they see a topic, something going on out in the world, when they see that phrase, they think of you. When we can get like so focused in, like, this is it, like, I am the absolute authority in this keyword or key phrase. Cooking, but working on traveling, right? Is there a niche around cooking or traveling? Do you have a specific, is it baking? Is it Italian? Is it barbecuing? Like, is there a specific niche when it comes to cooking, or even where traveling, right? Cruising, backpacking, first class traveling, resort traveling. If we can get down again into that narrower niche, where anytime somebody sees that word, hears that phrase, they say, you need Jim, you need Michelle, you need Kristen, you need Paul. They instantly think of you. You want to get so tight, so excellent, brand yourself as the absolute authority in this space. That's how we're going to elevate and stand out to be invited onto these stages. Digital adoption in healthcare. So think about that one word in that phrase, like adoption, right? Absolutely. Like, that's a unique piece. International adoption, local adoption. Again, let's narrow that down just a little bit. So your expert topic, number one, right? If we're going to position ourselves as that content expert, get invited to speak on stages in front of OPA, other people's audiences, we need that expert topic. I am the expert. I'm a media specialist. right? So when people hear the word media, they think of Angel Tuccy. When somebody posts on social, I'm looking for somebody in the media, they think of Angel Tuccy. You want it to be that clear, because if it's confusing and we're not really sure, or you're like jack of all trades and you could talk about so many things, then you don't really come across as that authority in this one space. And when this is like one of those misconceived notions, one of those misconceptions, and when it comes to being an expert in media and even speaking on stages, is that you have to have multiple topics that you speak on. You don't. We want you to have your one absolute area of expertise, that you stay in your lane, right? You stay in your zone of genius and establish yourself as the absolute authority in that space. And so hopefully that's good news for you versus, right, all the different things that it could be. And where you want to hit that like holy grail is in that perfect audience or that perfect topic that there's media covering it. Your audience is willing to pay for the service or the product around it, and you are absolutely passionate about speaking on it. That's that like nice little beautiful trifecta. The media is covering it. There's an audience willing to pay for a product or service around it, and you are absolutely passionate about speaking on it. So we're going to, when we do our Media Mastery Bootcamp, we do that 3 times a year. The next one's not until May. But we spend a lot of time figuring out what is that perfect, that ideal topic, because we don't want to throw spaghetti at the wall. We don't want to guess at this. We want to make sure that you are nailing it. We don't want to waste exposure. Maybe you guys remember the Chewbacca mom, right? She was the woman who went to Kohl's and bought this plastic Chewbacca mask. And when she opened her mouth, it went, ah, right? The Chewbacca laugh. She got all this expertise or all this exposure for sharing that video. It was the very first Facebook video to ever go viral and hit over 1 million views. And she had all this exposure, but of course, there was no way to monetize it, no way for her to build her sales castle, to create revenue out of that. She had her 3 weeks of fame in the limelight, but there's no way for her to ever recreate that. I want this not to be a guess for you. I want you to be able to monetize it, to bring in more clients into your funnel, to set yourself up for working smarter, not harder. The sad thing about business owners is we've been taught to build our business one-to-one, right? We're sending out LinkedIn messages and we're sending out these, one-on-one messages for people. We're scheduling one-on-one calls, and there's no way that we can grow our business fast enough. We cannot scale fast enough if we're building our business one-to-one. So write this down, no more onesies, right? Building your business one to many, which is the power of media. This is what's going to help you at the end of the day, ring the register more often, because we get off the phone, right? When you think about your expertise, you're probably sharing it all day long for free. When we can share it in media, we can monetize that on the back end so that you feel like you're not just giving it away for free all day long. So you have your expert topic, you have your keyword. Now, what are the top 3 results? If I'm going to have you as a guest on my platform, I'm going to say, hey, I'd love to have you as a guest on my podcast, as a guest on my TV show. What are the top 3 results? So you are the expert, right? You're the expert in prepping parents for acting for their kids, right? What are the top 3 results that you're going to share? My keyword is sanitizing, kills viruses, bacteria, mold, spores. Yeah, right. That's a good word to have, right? Surviving the difficult spouse. Oh, that is your expertise, Niketa. How to get your child started in the acting biz. Got it. Put all that together. Fabulous. So what are the top 3 things, right, that you're going to share? And write this down, because you want to be able to add value. You're not there selling. It's not an infomercial. You are there to add value, to educate, to entertain. So what are those top 3 results that people are going to get, the audience is going to get? Tell me when we're pitching to me what you're going to share with my audience. So you're the expert. This is your keyword that is setting you up as the authority in that space. And then we need to start to craft your media pitch. So now you've got this kind of dialed in, your messaging, right? You've got this dialed in. And when we reach out to the journalists, they're going to want to know, like, okay, great. Like, here you are, but so what, right? So this is the why you, right? This is what's happening. You're the expert in the space. These are the top 3 results. But then we need to add this third piece to this media pitch, and that is, what's the big idea? I have a friend who used to work in a pretty major newsroom, and he said people call him all the time to pitch them their ideas, right? Of being a guest on their show or to be interviewed and to do a news story on. And he would always ask them, so what? Hey, I just opened my new business. You guys should, feature me. And he would always ask, I mean, he was pretty blunt about it, so what? And we have to have the so what. So really, what is the big idea? So imagine this. Imagine everybody was listening to you talk about sanitizing, right? Without toxic chemicals, that you were talking about surviving difficult, being with a difficult spouse, or cooking, or travel. And people were to take action, right? You give them these 3 tips of things that they can do, or the results or the outcomes that you're going to share. And let's say they actually take action on it. How will the world be different? How will that impact? What's the greater impact of you sharing this story and people hearing it and taking action? What's the ripple effect of your story being shared in the media? That's the bigger piece that we want to emphasize in our media story, is that bigger impact. And so right now, I mean, there's a segment of the population that is struggling, right? They're struggling because they haven't heard you yet. They haven't heard your expertise. They haven't met you yet. I love that word. That's one of my favorite words, right? Is yet. I haven't done this yet, right? They haven't heard of you yet. They haven't heard your story yet. They haven't come across your tips. But now that they have, how is that going to change their lives? Is it going to make the world better? Is it going to bring, world peace? Or is it just going to bring some peace to families, right? To small businesses? Is it going to change the way we do anything, right? Is it going to change the way that we clean our homes, right? Is it going to change the way we cook? Is it going to change the way we travel? And that's the piece that you want to write down, right? So as we're still in topic number 1, positioning you as that content expert, right? You have your specialty topic. You've got the top 3 results, but you also now want to really emphasize, like, this is the bigger story. This is the bigger impact, because when I go out into the world, and so for me, right, I'm creating marketplace apostles and giving small businesses a voice in the marketplace, because they are the backbone of the American economy. Right now, they're busy but broke, right? There's an epidemic of small businesses who are going out of business, who are not taking a paycheck. And it all comes down to because they're not getting enough exposure. And then they don't know how to monetize that exposure on the back end. And so they're frustrated, they're floundering around, and their families, right? They feel like they're disappointing their families. So what's the story? Right? What's the big idea? What's the story? And so your story, if you can put that into like 3 sentences, we now have a pitch, right? We now have a pitch. Any comments, questions, you can put those in the chat, right? As you're thinking, is this helpful, right? It gets us out of our sales hat, right? We have to take our sales hat off and put our publicity hat on of how we are serving, right? If we really are going to leverage these coveted exclusive spots, being a guest on somebody else's platform, out of all the people in the world they could put, they're choosing you. So you're kind of winning out, right, on all the people they could have had, right? Even today, Bill has 30 people that are here. There's probably 300 that would have wanted to speak on this stage, but he had to pick, right? Who are my top 30 that are going to serve my clients, that are going to stay in the lane and give them the information they came to the Global Elevation Summit for. Same for you. These are coveted exclusive spots, and know that media attracts media. So the more often you are featured, the more opportunities show up, and we just have to start. Jim Rohn, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And so we start with positioning ourselves as that content expert, and try it on for size. You guys can go out to social media. You can put it out. Hey, what do you guys think of this topic? Does this resonate with you? Before you pitch it to the media, make sure you've got a little sample run and a trial run that it's actually being impacted impacting the audience that is following you. This is helpful if you have a niche and help people accomplish their goals in the easiest, most cost-effective manner. Success will come. Jim, yes, thank you. Thank you for your interaction. All right, well, we need to move on, right? We need to move on to, I said you can't sell, right? This isn't an infomercial. You haven't paid for the advertising. You are there to educate, to entertain, to add value. Whether or not anybody buys from you, even if they don't opt in, you still need to add absolute value to the entire segment of the audience. But there is one thing that will open up more doors, allow you to be interviewed, and most of the time for free or very low cost entry. And they will help, you can sell it. You can sell this one item. In fact, the journalists, the podcasters, if they know you have this item, they will tell their audience to go and buy it. It is the one little end around that you are allowed to sell, even when you haven't paid for the advertising spot. And that one item, oh, I wonder if I even have a copy. I don't even have but it's your book. It's your book. If you are a published author, right? You can speak on more stages. Oh, I must have moved my book. My book is called ABCs of Exposure. It is your complete guide to everything you know about creating more exposure, leveraging the power of media, publishing, and speaking. You can find it on Amazon, but it is your book. And most people say, I've always wanted to write a book, right? I'm always hearing it. If you've written a book, type a 2 in. Let me know you've already published a book. If you type a 2 into the chat box that you've already published. If you want to publish a book, type a 3, right? Or even hashtag my next book. I'd love to publish my next book. There's 2 types of books that I find that most people write. And the first one is what I call your heart book. Right? Your heart book, your book of passion, love songs, love stories, poetry, right? It's your breakthrough. It's your journey that you've been through. My very first book I published over 12 years ago. I've now published 13 books, but it was called Lists That Saved My Life. And it qualifies as a heart book because it talked about work-life balance, time management, which was my story, but I didn't sell anything on the back end. Remember, we want to hit that trifecta. Something the media wants to talk about, customers, right? There's customers that will buy that product or service and you're passionate about it. Well, I was passionate about it. I was able to get booked on stages to do media interviews, but I didn't sell anything. People wanted to buy time management tools, but I didn't personally sell anything in the time management planner, calendar systems, right? So that's how it qualified as a heart book because I didn't make any money on it. What I want you to publish is what I call your food book, the book that puts food on the table. And it also fits in that same trifecta: media exposure, clients, right, that will buy the product or service, and you're passionate about it. I call your food book a 100-page love letter to your clients. It gets them into your sales castle. We've created a whole formula for your sales castle, right? How do you monetize the exposure? How do you leverage exposure and get them in with your opt-in, take them to your low ticket offer, and bring them in so that you're monetizing your exposure. We actually have an event coming up on March 21 called Launchathon, where we're going to teach you how. It's a free workshop, a 2-hour workshop on 321, March 21, Launchathon, how to launch a 6-figure business, a new 6-figure revenue using a low ticket item, a low ticket offer. And you can sign up for that at launchathon.eventbrite.com. It's free on 321. Hopefully you'll remember that. But your food book, right, it's a 100-page love letter that gets clients into your sales castle. And so when you think about the one-to-many formula and protecting your calendar, right now we're filling our calendar with too many people who want to pick our brain. They're tire kickers. They're not ready to buy yet. You heard our main stage speaker, and she's like, if you don't have any money, don't come to me, right? Like, I don't even be bothered. Do you have people that are telling you I can't afford you, or I'm not ready for you yet, or whatever myriad of excuse they bring to the table? They don't get your quality one-on-one time. That is your most valuable resource, is your one-on-one time. And yet all day long as small business owners, we tend to give it away for free in these one-on-one sales calls, discovery calls, right? Trying to convince people to buy from us. Well, for those who want to pick your brain, you want to take them through this sales funnel. Your food book will turn them into raving fans, right? They can create, kind of discover what it's like to work with you, discover some of your services, how it is that you work. And if they still, right, and now because of that, it creates this momentum of, okay, I do want to work with this person, and gets them into that next level of your sales castle. So it's a low ticket offer. It's something you can easily sell every single day. ESD, easily sell every single day. ESD. You want to have something in your wheelhouse that is low ticket that you can sell every single day. Think about this: 7 sales a day of your food book is about $5,000 a month. Now, most small business owners, like an extra 5K a month is a game changer for your business. Like, you can pay yourself, you can hire a staff, you can invest in inventory, you can upgrade your software. 5K for a small business is a big deal, right? And I mean, even for us, for somebody who's just starting out as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, you might not yet have your program, you might not yet have your digital course set up, you might not have all of your funnels in place. By publishing your food book, the book that puts food on the table, leveraging my food book formula, which is taking the content you already have, sales presentations, website content, sitting in frequently asked questions in your email inbox, social media posts. We take the content, your intellectual property of what you already have, and we format it into this very specific design. You think using OPA, other people's audiences, and 1 press release a month. Yes, you can start your own show, your own podcast, and do all of your own stages, but that's a lot of what's keeping us busy but broke, right? Because we're talking to the same people, we're talking to our own audience. They're already in our castle. That's great for engagement, but true exposure is when you're using OPA, other people's audiences. So being a guest on somebody else's platform, being interviewed, which means you don't have to have a signature talk. You don't have to have a PowerPoint presentation. It's a dialogue, it's a conversation. And so no matter where you are in the speaker spectrum, right? I want to speak, or I have a talk, even if you don't yet have a talk, you are not, you don't have a presentation, you don't have your signature talk, you don't have all of the comfort of being on stage, you can still leverage the power of publicity, being interviewed and doing 1 press release a month, 2 interviews a week, 1 press release a month, with no real comfort of stage, stage speaking. You can put your book out, right? Publish your book. We can get your book published within the next 90 days, create it and format it into this food book formula. So with just 2 interviews a week, 1 press release a month, and a published food book, you can create an ongoing revenue stream. You can create more media exposure. You can get more leads into your sales castle, and then you can still offer your product and service. Like, none of this is just a nice little add-on to everything else you're already doing. Even if you haven't built a full business yet, even if you don't have a website yet, you can still leverage the power of publicity with a call to action, all you need is a landing page, really, to get this whole thing up and running. And we'll teach you that at that Launchathon event. So the press release, right? We're going to create this media exposure, leveraging the power of a press release. And how does that work? So you guys have goals, right? Think about by the end of the year, right? The end of 2021, it's December. Fast forward, right? A few months into December. And we're creating this amazing piece of publicity for you, this press release, because of what you have accomplished this year. You set some big goals, and you're like, by the end of the year, I am going to blank, right? Extra, read all about it. This is where I'm going to be at the end of the year. So when you write that down, what is that big audacious goal that you have said, I am going to accomplish by the end of 2021? Write that down. We can turn that into a headline, right? So, becomes best-selling author, international, global best-selling author, speaks on, share stages, starts on TV show, hits this, record-breaking year in business, launches, amazing product. What is your year-end goal that you want to have achieved by the end of this year? Write it down, put it in the chat so we can see it. We can turn that into a headline. But that's your December headline. Leading up to that, you're going to have some baby steps, right? Some little milestones that you need to hit before that. So if I'm going to say I'm going to become an international best-selling author, well, I'm going to publish the book. I'm going to create some marketing partners. I'm going to, um, what are those baby steps, right? The baby steps. I'm going to launch a course. I'm going to align with a charity because I'm going to donate, proceeds to this. I'm going to hire the team that, is helping me. I've hired a copywriter, or I'm working with a publisher, or, I'm working with Angel Tuccy with Media Mastery. Like all the baby steps, right, that you are put into place in order to hit that big, hairy goal. I want you to write like 3 milestones that it's going to take, baby steps, in order for you to hit that big milestone. So, all right, so you guys aren't typing them in to the box, national coverage, while I empower women. Fabulous. So if you do, like, you don't want to write a whole thing down and put it in the chat box, then just put a 4, right? I have a big goal. I put a 4 if you have a goal. Put a 5 if you don't know yet what your big goal is going to be this year. Maybe you haven't put that vision in place, and that's okay too, right? We've got to, today is a baby step for you. It might just be a start of, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, that's okay too. Absolutely. So we've got a 4, right? You know what your big goal is. And so that's your headline, right? I know what my big goal is. This is my headline, right? Because now you're writing it in the place of, I did it. I accomplished it. Like, it happened. Right now, because it's the end of February, we're hoping, right? We're planning, we're creating, we're strategizing that it's going to, this will be. But by December, it's done, it's happening, and we are celebrating it. So good, we've got a couple of 4s. I love that. You know what your big goal is. Now, let's create those milestones, those baby steps, because as entrepreneurs, we do not celebrate our baby steps often enough. We don't celebrate the milestones. You guys are running circles. You are the hardest working people on the planet, right? We work entrepreneurial half days, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And some of you are overachievers working even harder, longer days, right? Longer than 12-hour days. 4, Jim, yay. Kristen, 4, iPhone, 4, Nichelle, 4, right? So we've got over 4, yes. So you are doing these amazing things, but we don't take time to celebrate them. By creating a monthly press release, you celebrate your milestones. You celebrate, you put out to the world, yes, please, more of that, right? We become obsessed, right? You get what you think about most of the time, right? If you think about what you're thinking about, right? And all the things that you're getting, when you become obsessed with what you really want, you get what you really want because that's what you're thinking about most of the time. So your milestones, if we were to write these baby step milestone headlines, right? Maybe Bill Walsh is writing your forward, or you have some great influencer who's writing the forward for you, or these great contributors that are coming on as marketing partners with you, and you're doing some JVs, right? Think about those baby steps. By putting out a press release every single month, it reminds you to celebrate you. So if I was to ask you what's new, look at your calendar. What have you done already in 2021? I know that we came in kind of like guns blazing, right? Like, we were so excited for 2021. Like, it's a fresh, clean slate. It's a fresh new year. 2020, we were kind of in our cocoons trying to figure out, like, what is this going to be, this new world, and how are we going to, navigate it? But 21, we're like, okay, whether we're in or out, we know we're still going forward. We know that our business can grow, that it can, see banner months, right? We saw banner months in 2020 without even leaving our homes. For those of us who had published, for those of us who had an online digital programs, who were leveraging the power of other people's audiences, because there were plenty of opportunities to speak. So we know no matter what, whether we're in or out, right? Country-wise, right? And social distancing, we know we can grow an online business, right? We can leverage the power of media. And so we've got all this excitement. So what have you done? What have you already done? Look at what's new, right? And I always say, if you've got news, alert the press. So you could write a press release every single month and distribute it to your local media news station. How many of you would love to have those logos as seen on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox? Say, that's me, that's me. Why are those so valuable? Because people haven't heard of you yet. Those brands are familiar. And because they're familiar, when people see them, they recognize that brand and they align you with it. It increases that know, like, and trust factor instantly, elevates your credibility. And again, because those stations and those places have featured you, I should check you out, right? Like, let me see what you are up to. It creates that excitement, that energy that you on your own, even though you're still the same person, you weren't creating on your own. And so now I'm a published author. Now I'm being seen on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. I'm being invited to speak on stages. They want to interview me. They want to cover my story. And you see how it just kind of builds in that momentum. And then the consistency of 2 interviews a week, 1 press release a month is all it takes to be in front of 100 new audiences a year and thousands of media news desks. So you have now 3 or 4 headlines, right, in front of you of things that you can submit directly to your local news station. They have a place right on their website. Your local news station is on a major media network. ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. That's their affiliate. So when they share your story, you get to say, as seen on NBC, as seen on CBS, as seen on Fox. When you submit your press release to a distribution service, that distributor sends it out to an entire database that your news story. In fact, we just had one that came in this morning. I wonder if I could share my screen with this one. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. So this one just came in this morning, right? These are all these news stations that picked up and featured her news story, her press release. So she's got Salem, she's got all these little reporters, all these emails, all New Mexico reporter, Madison headlines, Topeka, Kansas, Topeka magazine, Lincoln News reporter, Montana, Connecticut, Cheyenne, Richmond, Alaska, Boston Herald, Channel 2, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, Market Watch, Digital Journal, News Heralds, right? Daily Heralds, all of these, right? With one press release. With one press release. That's the power of using a distributor. Juicy, you're like, Angel, I can do this. I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the content out of my computer. I'm going to pull that together and start to publish my food book. I'm going to get that done in the next 90 days. I'm going to get really clear on what I'm an expert on, what my top 3 talking points are, what those results are. I'm going to dominate and crush it in my zone of genius with this one keyword or this key phrase, so that when anybody hears that, they're like referring me. I am the go-to expert in that space. I'm going to work on my media story of what is the big idea? Why now? Why should I be interviewed? What's the impact of having my story out into the world? And I'm going to start sending out my press releases, right? I'm going to get those coveted logos. I'm going to elevate my brand. I'm going to share my story. I'm going to create publicity. And from that, I'm going to book 2 interviews a week, 1 press release a month. And in those 2 interviews that you do every single week, you're going to promote your book on Amazon, right? You're going to, or send them a link, right? Or however you want to, wherever you want to sell your book, right? I sell mine on Amazon, ABCs of Exposure. If you sold 25 copies of your book and 2 interviews a week, that's 200 books a month. That's $5,000. That's $5,000 with 2 interviews a week, 1 press release a month. Not taking up any time on your calendar, right? Not in discovery calls, not doing one-on-ones. It's protecting your calendar. It's protecting your time so that you can focus on serving your clients and spending time doing what you do best, right? Having quality of life, quality of family, self-care. Oh, thank you. Best PR. Thank you. Thank you, Queen Victoria of Sheba. I love it. Like Queen Victoria of Sheba says, I am the best in PR. So put Angel as my favorite in the text box, right? When you guys go back to the main room, like, give me some love. Say Angel is my favorite. Tell Bill, thank you for bringing her back again. I'm so grateful for Bill and Power Team for allowing me to pour into you. I hope this was super helpful, super valuable, that you took tons of notes, but you absolutely know how to take action, right? What is your next step today? If you don't yet have that topic, right, that expertise, that media story, start there. If you don't have that food book that is creating ongoing revenue and attracting media stages, second step. Third step, let's start sharing these press releases. Let's start putting out these stories. Let's connect you with journalists who are looking for those content experts. That is you. So step one, step two, step three. Let's make it an amazing year. I hope you take action. I can't wait to see your stories shared in the media. If you've got a press release out and you want me to look at it before you distribute it, I'm happy to give you a little quick edit review. Again, text the word angel to 26786. I will send that back and reply to you guys today. Yeah, happy to serve, happy to serve. So God bless you all. I adore you. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being here. Text the word angel to 26786 so that we can do some amazing things together. All right.